Beautiful people, welcome, welcome to Beautiful Life in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Okay, welcome wherever you are. Yes, it's now 1:08 in the morning in the US, Florida, and I am not about to sleep. I'm up, so I am gonna watch 10 US states that are now banning Jamaicans from working. All right, so we're gonna have a watch, right? Let me set this up. Let me set this up. Oh, my phone finished. Boy, sorry about shaking up this. Sorry about all this shake up. All right, let me set up this thing here. All right, let's see. Let's see. Okay, so we wanna watch what's going on about Jamaica included. All right, Jamaica included in this banning from working, and that is of next year 25, 25, 26, or is it 25? Let's listen, we'll know exactly what's going on. All right, let's see what's
Some
going on.
thriving diaspora neighborhoods.
Hold on, let's begin. Go back to the beginning. All right.
What if I told you that Jamaicans, who have been the backbone of America's farms, hotels, construction sites, and even healthcare system, are suddenly being shut out? Yes, you heard that right. As of
MD
2025,
Waris King
new immigration
786.
crackdowns and
Hello.
state-level
Hey,
restrictions
Casey.
mean
Oh,
that 10 U.S.
whatever.
states are effectively banning or severely restricting Jamaican workers. For decades, Jamaicans have relied on seasonal work programs, hospitality jobs, and construction opportunities in the U.S. to provide for their families back home. And American businesses? They've thrived thanks to the hard work, resilience, and dedication of Jamaican labor. From picking apples in New York to cleaning hotel rooms in Florida, Jamaicans have been everywhere, often doing the jobs Americans didn't want to do. But now, things are changing. Political pressure, new visa restrictions, and rising anti-immigrant rhetoric are combining to push Jamaicans out. Some states are rewriting labor laws, others are passing executive orders, and some are simply making life so hard for foreign workers that Jamaicans are packing up and leaving. So which states are leading this crackdown? Why are they doing it? Today we're breaking it all down. These are the 10 US states now banning Jamaicans from working, and the shocking truth behind it all. Florida has always been described as the second Jamaica. With its beaches, reggae clubs, and thriving diaspora neighborhoods, the Sunshine State has been a home away from home for tens of thousands of Jamaicans. Cities like Miami Gardens, Fort Lauderdale, and Orlando are filled with Caribbean restaurants, churches, and businesses that keep Jamaican culture alive. But in 2025, Florida introduced sweeping labor restrictions that changed everything. Under the new rules, employers who rely on foreign workers face strict penalties, and visa processing for seasonal labor has slowed to a crawl. While officials say the changes are meant to protect American jobs, in practice, they've hit Jamaicans hardest. Jamaican workers have historically filled roles in Florida's biggest industries: tourism, agriculture, and healthcare. Orlando's hotels and theme parks once depended on Jamaican staff for housekeeping, cooking, and maintenance. South Florida's hospitals recruited Jamaican nurses to help meet chronic staffing shortages. Central Florida's farms relied on Jamaican seasonal workers to harvest crops in the blazing heat, jobs few locals were willing to take. Now all of these sectors are scrambling. Hotel managers admit they're cutting back services because they can't find replacements. Farmers warn that fields of fruits and vegetables may rot without Jamaican labor. Nurses say patients are waiting longer for care because their contracts weren't renewed. For Jamaicans, this feels deeply personal. Florida was always the state where the diaspora built strong roots. Little Jamaica in Miramar, reggae clubs in Miami, churches filled with patois and gospel. Families that worked hard for decades now feel shut out by the very place they helped build. What makes it worse is the irony. While Florida politicians celebrate protecting jobs, the state's economy is quietly hurting without Jamaican workers who kept it running. Texas, the Lone Star State, has always been a land of opportunity. Wide open fields, booming cities, and endless construction projects. For decades, Jamaicans found steady work here, whether in agriculture, construction, or oil-related industries. Towns from Houston to Dallas became hubs where Jamaican workers could build a living, send remittances home, and even start new lives. But in 2025, Texas took a hard turn. State lawmakers introduced some of the toughest anti-immigrant labor policies in the country. Employers who hire foreign workers now face heavy fines, even if those workers are here legally under programs like the H-2A for farm labor or H-2B for hospitality. On paper, the laws were framed as protecting Texans first. In reality, they've gutted opportunities for Jamaicans who've long formed the backbone of certain industries. Construction has been hit especially hard. Cities like Houston, Dallas, and Austin were booming with new housing and infrastructure projects. Many of the crews swinging hammers and pouring concrete were Jamaican. Now, with restrictions in place, companies are scrambling to fill positions. Some projects are stalling midway, costing developers millions. Agriculture tells the same story. Across the Rio Grande Valley, Jamaican seasonal workers once harvested citrus, onions, and vegetables in scorching conditions. With Jamaicans shut out, farmers complain that locals simply won't do the job. Crops are being left to rot, and business owners warn that Texas is losing billions in wasted produce and missed export opportunities. For Jamaicans, Texas no longer feels like the land of opportunity. Those who remain live with fear, constant raids, harassment, and the risk of losing their livelihoods overnight. Many are quietly leaving, either returning to Jamaica or seeking safer states. Ironically, while politicians claim victory, Texas businesses say the crackdown is costing far more than it saves. Georgia has always depended on immigrant labor, and Jamaicans have been a vital part of that story. From Atlanta's bustling hotels to the sprawling farms of Middle Georgia, Jamaicans filled jobs that kept the state's economy running. For years, farmers praised Jamaican crews for their reliability during harvest season, while hospitality managers said their hotels couldn't function without them. But in 2025, that partnership came under attack. Georgia passed sweeping new labor laws aimed at reducing the use of H-2A and H-2B visas. These rules made it harder, more expensive, and slower for employers to legally hire Jamaicans. Mountains of paperwork and long delays pushed many businesses to give up altogether. The impact has been immediate. In Savannah, restaurants and hotels once staffed by Jamaicans now struggle with constant turnover and untrained workers. Some have even closed sections of their properties to cope with labor shortages. In Atlanta, warehouses and logistics hubs, where Jamaicans often worked behind the scenes, report delivery delays and lower productivity. But it's agriculture that's suffering most. Peach orchards, pecan groves, and vegetable farms across the state are shorthanded. Farmers warn that without Jamaican workers, Georgia's peach state identity is at risk. The irony? Local workers still refuse to take these jobs, leaving fields empty. Georgia lawmakers argue that they are putting Americans first. Yet business groups say Jamaicans were never stealing jobs. They were filling gaps that locals avoided. Without them, the state risks economic slowdown and higher food prices. For Jamaicans, the message is clear. Georgia, once a land of opportunity, is shutting its doors. Communities built over generations now face an uncertain future. For Jamaicans, New York has always been more than just another U.S. state. It's been a second home. From the bustling streets of Brooklyn's Flatbush to the apple orchards of upstate, Jamaicans have shaped New York's identity. Little Jamaica in Queens remains one of the largest Jamaican diasporas in the world. But even here, in a place once seen as welcoming, Jamaicans are facing new barriers. In 2025, state officials tightened labor regulations, especially in agriculture and hospitality. While federal visa laws technically remain the same, New York has slowed approvals and increased enforcement. For many Jamaican workers, that means opportunities are drying up. Upstate apple farms are reporting labor shortages. For decades, Jamaican pickers were the backbone of the harvest, quick, skilled, and dependable. Now, without them, farmers say millions of dollars in crops could go uncollected. Some are warning of price hikes for consumers. Downstate, in Manhattan and Brooklyn, the hospitality sector is also struggling. Hotels that once ran smoothly with Jamaican staff are now short-staffed, with guests complaining about slower service and declining quality. For Jamaicans, the changes feel like betrayal. New York is where generations built lives, from reggae concerts filling Madison Square Garden to remittances flowing back home from workers in restaurants, hospitals, and construction sites. To suddenly be treated as expendable has shocked the diaspora. Politicians may argue that the new rules protect local workers, but businesses quietly admit the truth. Jamaicans weren't replacing New Yorkers. They were sustaining industries that can't survive without them. California, often seen as progressive and welcoming, has taken a surprising turn in 2025. Known for its massive agricultural industry and bustling cities, the state relied heavily on Jamaican labor for decades. From fruit pickers in the Central Valley to hotel workers in Los Angeles, Jamaicans played a critical role in keeping the economy running. But new state-level visa restrictions have made it nearly impossible for Jamaicans to work legally in California. Officials say they are protecting local workers, but businesses say they're facing a crisis. Farmers, especially in the Central Valley, report losing entire harvests of grapes, strawberries, and citrus without their Jamaican crews. Some predict food prices will spike as shortages ripple through grocery stores nationwide. In Los Angeles and San Francisco, the hospitality sector is also reeling. Hotels, restaurants, and event spaces once staffed by Jamaicans are now struggling to find replacements. Many businesses are hiring inexperienced local workers, but turnover is high and service quality is slipping. What makes California's move especially surprising is its reputation. For years, it was seen as immigrant-friendly, a place where workers from the Caribbean could find stability. But in 2025, political pressures and local debates shifted the tide. Now, Jamaicans who once viewed California as a dream destination are turning away. For the diaspora, the change feels like a wake-up call. Even in liberal states, immigrant labor is no longer guaranteed a place.
Okay, all right.
Feel the blast.
Yes, people, that is so interesting. Okay, Kevin, Lawford Lord, what is this? It's regarding immigration in Jamaica and the US workers. Kevin said hi. Hi, Kevin. Yes, I am a Jamaican and I am a naturalized American, so I'm featuring what is going on in my country, Jamaica, regarding immigration and workers. Okay? All right. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, 12 people and no thumbs up. Come on. Please, please, beautiful people, give me thumbs up. Appreciate it. Yeah. Appreciate it. It's now 1:21 a.m. in the morning, and I am in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Beautiful life, yes. I am used to I'm a night worker, so I can stay up the whole night, okay? All right, it begin again. Let's listen.
Keeping hotels along the Jersey Shore running smoothly. But in 2025, New Jersey rolled out local worker priority rules. These require employers to prove they've exhausted every possible local option before hiring foreign workers, even through legal visa programs. On paper, it sounds fair. In practice, it's shutting out Jamaicans. The hospitality industry has been hit first. Atlantic City casinos, which relied on Jamaican staff for decades, are struggling to maintain operations. Managers complain that they can't find enough trained workers. Along the Jersey Shore, hotels report shortages, with many unable to fully staff their peak summer season. Agriculture is another casualty. New Jersey's blueberry farms, famous nationwide, were once harvested by Jamaicans on seasonal visas. Without them, farms are reporting huge losses. Some are even warning that blueberries may disappear from supermarket shelves. For Jamaicans, the crackdown stings deeply. This is a state where they've built entire neighborhoods, churches, and cultural centers. Newark and Patterson are filled with Jamaican heritage, but those same communities are now being told their labor is no longer welcome. New Jersey's leaders claim they're protecting locals, but businesses warn that the policy is backfiring. The economy is suffering, and Jamaicans, once seen as essential, are now being pushed out. Arizona might not be the first state people associate with Jamaicans, but in recent decades it became a surprising hub. Phoenix and Tucson saw an influx of Jamaican workers in construction, agriculture, and hospitality. Many Jamaicans helped build the booming housing developments around Phoenix, while others picked crops under the blistering desert sun. But in 2025, Arizona passed some of the strictest anti-immigrant labor laws in the U.S. Employers who hire foreign workers now face extreme fines, and state inspectors regularly raid businesses to ensure compliance. For Jamaicans, this has created a hostile environment. Even those with legal visas report harassment and racial profiling. Construction has been especially hard hit. Developers complain of delays and spiraling costs as they try to replace experienced Jamaican crews with untrained local labor. Some projects are sitting half-finished, costing millions. Agriculture is no better. From lettuce fields to citrus orchards, Arizona's farmers relied on Jamaicans for seasonal harvests. Now, with workers gone, crops are going to waste. Business owners say the losses could devastate the state's agricultural exports. For Jamaicans, the message is loud and clear. Arizona doesn't want them. Many are leaving, heading back to Jamaica or to friendlier states, but their absence is being felt everywhere, in the unfinished homes, the empty hotels, and the wasted crops. North Carolina has always been a hotspot for Jamaican labor, particularly in agriculture. Tobacco, sweet potatoes, and Christmas tree farms across the state relied on seasonal Jamaican workers for decades. In cities like Raleigh, Charlotte, and Durham, Jamaicans also found steady jobs in hotels, restaurants, and healthcare. But in 2025, the state government introduced new visa restrictions that hit Caribbean workers especially hard. Employers applying for Jamaican workers now face endless red tape, delays, and rejections. Many farmers say they've given up trying. The result? Tobacco fields and sweet potato farms are going unharvested. Farmers are warning of devastating financial losses. North Carolina's once thriving agricultural exports are at risk. Hospitality is also suffering. Hotels in Raleigh and Charlotte, once staffed by Jamaicans, now struggle with understaffing. Guests report slower service and rising prices as businesses scramble to cover costs. For Jamaicans, the shift has been heartbreaking. North Carolina was once seen as a land of steady opportunity. Now it feels like a dead end. Workers who built lives here are being pushed out and communities are shrinking. Illinois, and particularly Chicago, has always had a strong Jamaican presence. From hotel kitchens to hospital wards, Jamaicans have been part of the workforce that keeps the state's largest city alive. Chicago's Jamaican community is proud, vibrant, and deeply rooted. But in 2025, Illinois passed new labor laws that drastically reduced opportunities for foreign workers. Employers must now jump through endless hoops to prove they need Jamaicans, and many simply don't bother. For workers, that means fewer contracts, more uncertainty, and shrinking opportunities. Hotels across Chicago are reporting staff shortages. Restaurants that once relied on Jamaican cooks and servers now struggle with inconsistent staffing. Even the city's healthcare sector, where Jamaican nurses were vital, is warning of shortages. For Jamaicans, Illinois feels like another door closing. Even with a strong diaspora community, new arrivals are finding it harder to survive. Families that once thrived are now considering leaving for Canada, the UK, or back to Jamaica. Business leaders warn that Illinois is undermining its own economy. Service quality is slipping, customers are complaining, and industries that once thrived are struggling. Massachusetts, with its world-class universities, hospitals, and tourist hubs, has long been a magnet for Jamaican workers. From Boston's hospitals to Cape Cod's summer resorts, Jamaicans filled roles that locals often ignored. But in 2025, Massachusetts introduced tough new labor rules, making it harder for employers to hire foreign staff. Visa approvals have plummeted, leaving businesses scrambling. Hospitals in Boston, which once actively recruited Jamaican nurses, are now turning them away. Administrators warn that staffing shortages could affect patient care. Cape Cod's hotels and resorts, heavily dependent on seasonal Jamaican workers, are also in crisis. Many properties report being unable to fully operate during peak season. For Jamaicans, this is devastating. Massachusetts was once seen as a safe bet, a place with steady work and strong communities. Now it feels like yet another closed door. The irony? Local workers aren't stepping in to fill the gap. Businesses say the labor shortage is real, and pushing Jamaicans out is only making it worse. This crackdown isn't just hurting Jamaicans in the US, it's shaking Jamaica itself. Remittances, the money sent home by Jamaicans abroad, are one of the island's biggest sources of income. Billions flow back every year, funding school fees, mortgages, and small businesses. With fewer Jamaicans working in the U.S., those remittances are expected to fall sharply. Families across the island are already bracing for harder times. Rural communities will be hit hardest. In parishes like St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, and Manchester, entire towns depend on seasonal work in the U.S. Farmers travel north to earn money, then send it back to keep local economies alive. With those jobs disappearing, entire communities face collapse. The Jamaican government has voiced concern, calling the state-level bans unfair and discriminatory. Officials are racing to negotiate new agreements with Canada, the UK, and even Middle Eastern countries to create alternative opportunities. But these efforts will take time, and the US losses will be hard to replace. Beyond economics, there's a cultural impact. Jamaicans abroad are part of the island's identity. Their remittances, experiences, and even return visits strengthen Jamaica's ties to the world. If U.S. doors close, the Jamaican diaspora could shrink, weakening those connections. For Jamaica, the message is clear. It can no longer rely so heavily on U.S. jobs. Diversification in trade, tourism, and international partnerships is becoming urgent. Ironically, the crackdown on Jamaicans may be backfiring on the U.S. itself. Farmers across multiple states are warning of devastating labor shortages. Crops are rotting in the fields, costing billions in lost produce. Hotels and restaurants are reporting declining service, frustrated customers, and higher prices. Construction projects are stalling as developers struggle to find replacements for skilled Jamaican crews. In healthcare, the loss of Jamaican nurses is especially alarming. Many hospitals relied on Jamaican staff to fill critical gaps. Without them, patients face longer wait times, reduced care quality, and staff burnout. Economists estimate that the bans could cost the U.S. billions annually. Businesses are lobbying state governments to reconsider, warning that the policies are unsustainable. But political leaders remain focused on short-term headlines rather than long-term economic health. The truth is, Jamaicans weren't taking jobs from Americans. They were filling jobs Americans refused to do. By shutting them out, states are creating labor crises that threaten their own economies. For Jamaicans, it's painful. For Americans, it's self-inflicted damage. So there you have it, 10 U.S. states now banning Jamaicans from working. From Florida to Massachusetts, the doors that were once open are now slamming shut. For Jamaicans, this is more than an immigration issue. It's about livelihoods, families, and national survival. For the U.S., it's a warning. Without Jamaican workers, key industries are already showing cracks. The big question is, where does this all end? Will more states follow, or will businesses push back and demand change? One thing is clear, Jamaicans have always been resilient. Whether in America, Canada, the UK, or at home, they will keep finding ways to thrive. But the US may soon realize that shutting them out comes with a heavy price. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments, which state's decision shocked you the most?
Okay, people, that's interesting. Jamaicans, we now know where or our workers are almost banned from working. So the Lord will find another way for us, right? I believe. Let me put this down here. Yeah, another way. It is just sad. Let me see. Yeah, it is just sad, you know. It comes to this with the US and Jamaica, you know, being so strong, you know, with each other over the years. You know, it is just sad. Sad. All right, let's see. All right, I'll just close it at that. Right? So thank you for watching, and I am now gonna do a live, silent live. All right, outside. Okay, people, thanks, and have a good night. Missy Kevin said hi. All right, bye-bye. Bye.